At 11:47 at night, your phone lights up, you see their name. For 1 second, your chest softens because some part of you still believes this message will fix the distance. Then you open it. 2 words. Good night. No warmth, no curiosity, no trace of the person who used to stay awake just to hear your voice. And still, you tell yourself, at least they messaged. That's how it starts. This video is about 10 signs your partner doesn't love you, even if you think they do. Not because they left, not because they cheated, not because they screamed the truth in your face, because sometimes love leaves quietly while the relationship stays standing. Carl Jung spent much of his work studying the hidden life beneath the face people show the world. He called that public face the persona. Behind it, he saw the shadow, the buried parts of a person they don't want to admit. In love, the persona can say, I'm still here. The shadow may say, I've already gone. Attachment theory gives this another language. Anxious attachment keeps looking for signs. Emotional neglect teaches you to accept crumbs. The inner child wound makes you chase someone who feels familiar, even when familiar hurts. So if you're watching this late at night, replaying conversations, checking tone, counting replies, and wondering why love now feels like a locked room, listen closely. The first sign may sound simple. Your partner no longer tries to understand you. When someone loves you, they don't always agree with you. Agreement isn't the point. They want to know what happened inside you. If you say, that hurt me, they don't rush to defend themselves. They pause. They ask where it hurt. They care enough to enter the room of your experience, even when they don't like what they find there. When love fades, curiosity fades first. You start explaining yourself like a lawyer in court. You bring examples. You soften your tone. You choose the right time. You say the same thing in 5 different ways. Still, they look tired of you. They say you're overthinking. They say you're too sensitive. They say you always create problems. Watch that pattern. A tired person can still care. A stressed person can still listen for 2 minutes. A wounded person can still say, I don't understand yet, but I want to. When someone treats your feelings as an interruption, they're no longer relating to your soul. They're managing your presence. Jung believed people often reject in others what they refuse to face in themselves. If your partner can't face guilt, your pain will feel like an accusation. If they can't face emotional responsibility, your needs will feel like pressure. If they can't face their coldness, they'll call you dramatic for noticing it. That's the first sign. They don't want to understand you anymore. They want you to stop making them aware of what they've become. The second sign is harder to explain because nobody else can see it. You feel lonely beside them. You sit in the same room. You eat at the same table. You may still share a bed. From the outside, nothing looks broken. Inside, something has gone quiet. You tell them about your day, and their eyes stay on the screen. You laugh at something, and they barely react. You reach for connection, and they respond with the emotional weight of someone answering a work email. This kind of loneliness confuses people because the partner is still physically there. But the nervous system knows the difference between presence and attendance. Presence says, I'm with you. Attendance says, I'm near you. A chair can be near you. A wall can be near you. Love has to do more than occupy space. There's a painful moment in emotionally neglected relationships when you stop sharing the small things. You don't even announce it. You just stop. You don't tell the funny story from work because they won't care. You don't explain why you were quiet because it will become a fight. You don't ask for comfort because rejection hurts worse than silence. Then one day you realize you've become single inside the relationship. That realization doesn't always arrive with tears. Sometimes it arrives while brushing your teeth, while making tea, while watching them laugh at their phone with more energy than they've given you all week. That's the part people don't talk about. A partner can sleep beside you and still make your heart feel abandoned. The third sign is that they only care when there are consequences. You've tried calm conversations. You've tried patience. You've tried explaining your hurt before it turned into anger. Nothing changed. Then one day, you finally pull away. You stop texting first. You don't chase the conversation. You mention leaving, or they sense it without you saying it. Suddenly, they become loving. They call, they apologize. They say they didn't realize how much they hurt you. They promise they'll do better. For a few days, it feels like the old person came back. That's the trap. Panic can imitate love for a short period. When someone fears losing access to you, they may act devoted. But devotion that only appears under threat doesn't come from care, it comes from fear. Ask yourself a hard question. Do they respond when you're hurting, or only when they might lose you? That difference matters. If your pain doesn't move them, but your absence does, they may not love you. They may need you. They may need your loyalty, your forgiveness, your support, your body, your attention, your role in their life. Need can look powerful from the outside, but need without care becomes possession. This is where many people get stuck in a loop. You hurt, they dismiss it, you pull away, they panic, you return, they relax. Then the old pattern starts breathing again. A relationship can survive conflict. It can survive distance. It can survive difficult seasons. It can't survive permanent repair failure. Repair means they don't just apologize. They study the wound they caused. They change the behavior that created it. They don't treat your pain like a storm they have to wait out. The fourth sign is emotional inequality. Their feelings are treated as serious. Yours are treated as excessive. When they're upset, you must be careful. You must listen. You must understand their mood, their past, their pressure, their triggers. When you're hurt, suddenly you're needy. You're accused of ruining the peace. You're told your timing is bad. You're made to feel guilty for asking to be treated with basic tenderness. That's not normal disagreement. That's a hierarchy. Their inner world sits at the center of the relationship. Yours waits outside, hoping for permission to enter. The strange thing is, you may not notice this at first. You just begin shrinking. You become more careful with your tone. You make your sentences softer. You add disclaimers before every feeling. You say, I'm not trying to fight. You say, I know you're busy. You say, maybe I'm wrong, but listen to that. When someone has trained you to apologize before expressing pain, the relationship has already damaged your voice. A loving partner may disagree with your interpretation. They may need time. They may even feel hurt by what you say. But they don't make you ashamed for having an emotional reality. Jung's idea of projection matters here. Projection happens when a person throws their own rejected traits onto someone else. A partner who can't admit selfishness may call you demanding. A partner who avoids intimacy may call you unstable. A partner who refuses accountability may call you negative. You end up carrying the name of the wound they refuse to face. That's how emotional confusion grows. You start trying to prove you're not too much, while they avoid proving they care enough. The fifth sign is that they protect their image more than your heart. This one often appears in public. Around other people they perform well. They smile. They act affectionate. They speak politely. They may even touch your shoulder or call you sweet names where others can hear. Then, in private, the warmth disappears. The room changes as soon as the door closes. This is the split between persona and truth. The persona wants to look loving. The private self reveals how much love actually exists when nobody applauds. Pay attention to how your partner treats you when there's no audience. Do they still speak with respect? Do they still care about your tiredness? Do they still protect your dignity? Do they still show patience when nobody will praise them for it? Some people love being seen as good partners more than they love doing the quiet work of partnership. That distinction will save you years. The public version buys flowers. The private version withholds kindness. The public version posts pictures. The private version mocks your needs. The public version says, we're good. The private version lets you cry alone. A relationship doesn't break because other people misunderstand it. It breaks because the person closest to you stops caring how it feels to be close to them. The sixth sign is that they make you feel guilty for needing reassurance. Everyone needs reassurance sometimes. A person can be confident, mature, busy, successful, and still need to hear, we're okay. Love doesn't mock that need. It doesn't punish it. It doesn't make you feel childish for asking whether the connection still matters. When someone loves you, reassurance may sound simple, They might say, I know I've been distant, but I'm here. They might say, you're not wrong to ask, I've been off lately. That kind of response doesn't require poetry, it requires care. When love fades, reassurance becomes expensive. You ask for warmth and receive irritation. You ask if something changed and receive silence. You ask for clarity and receive a lecture about your insecurity. So you start managing your anxiety alone. You reread old messages. You compare old behavior to new behavior. You study the space between replies. You look for proof in tiny scraps because direct reassurance feels unavailable. This is where anxious attachment gets activated. Your nervous system begins chasing signals. One warm reply gives you relief. One cold reply sends you into panic. Their mood becomes your weather. That isn't romance. It's emotional dependence created by inconsistency. The mind can become addicted to unpredictable affection. Casinos know this principle well. A reward given every time becomes predictable. A reward given randomly can hook the brain harder. In relationships, inconsistent tenderness can make a person chase love with more intensity than steady love ever would. That doesn't make you weak. It means your body has been trained to survive uncertainty. The seventh sign is that your partner no longer repairs after hurting you. Every couple hurts each other. Even good people say the wrong thing. They miss moments. They react from fear. They fail under pressure. The question is not whether they ever hurt you. The question is what they do after they see the hurt. A loving partner returns to the moment with humility. They don't always do it perfectly. They may stumble, they may need time, yet they come back because your pain matters more than their pride. A partner who doesn't love you deeply may avoid repair. They wait until you act normal. They pretend nothing happened. They use silence until the topic dies. They offer a quick apology with no curiosity behind it. You hear, I said sorry. What more do you want? What you want is simple. You want them to understand the damage. You want them to stop repeating the same wound. You want them to care that their words stayed in your body long after the argument ended. Repair is where love becomes visible. Without repair, every conflict leaves a deposit, a little resentment, a little fear, a little distance, a little loss of trust. Over time, the relationship doesn't end from one big event. It becomes crowded with everything nobody repaired. This is why you may feel tired, even when nothing is happening. Your body remembers every conversation that never received care. The eighth sign is that they love you most when you're easy to love. When you're happy, agreeable, useful, attractive, quiet, giving, and low maintenance, they're fine. The moment you become inconvenient, they turn cold. You ask for accountability, and they withdraw. You express disappointment, and they accuse you of attacking them. You need comfort, and they act burdened. This reveals the size of their love. Some people don't love your full self. They love the version of you that costs them the least. That's a hard sentence, but it may explain years of confusion. They love you when you don't need them to grow. They love you when you don't challenge their shadow. They love you when your pain stays hidden enough to protect their comfort. But love that requires your silence will eventually make you sick. It may show up as anxiety, it may show up as numbness, it may show up as sudden anger over small things because the large things never had a safe place to speak. The inner child wound enters here. If you grew up earning love by being easy, you may confuse being tolerated with being chosen. You may believe your needs push people away, so you edit yourself. You smile at the wrong time. You say, it's okay, when it isn't. You accept half love because some younger part of you still fears having no love at all. But adult love requires adult honesty. If someone only stays kind while you remain convenient, you're not safe in that bond. The ninth sign is that their future quietly excludes you. This doesn't always mean they refuse commitment directly. Sometimes they talk about the future often. They mention career plans, travel plans, money plans, moving plans, family plans, and personal goals. Yet somehow you feel like a guest in the conversation. They don't ask what you want. They don't consider how their choices affect you. They avoid serious talks about direction. They keep everything vague enough to keep you attached and unpromised. Vagueness can become a cage. You wait because they say, soon. You stay because they say, let's see. You silence your fear because they say, why pressure it? A person who loves you may need time. They may not have every detail figured out, but they don't keep you emotionally homeless. They don't let you stand outside the future, guessing whether there's a place for you inside. Jung saw love as more than attraction. Real love forces both people to confront themselves. It asks them to grow beyond fantasy, ego, and old wounds. So, when a partner wants the comfort of you without the responsibility of building with you, they're avoiding that confrontation. They may enjoy your presence. They may even fear losing it. But enjoyment and fear don't equal love. Love makes room. The 10th sign is the one your mind will argue with the most. Your body doesn't feel safe with them anymore. You may still miss them. You may still want them. You may still hope they'll change. But your body tells another story. Your chest tightens before difficult conversations. Your stomach drops when their mood changes. You rehearse simple sentences before saying them. You feel relief when they leave the room. You don't feel relaxed in your own emotional skin. That matters. The unconscious often speaks through the body before the conscious mind accepts the facts. A dream may show distance before you admit it. A headache may appear before every meeting. A strange exhaustion may follow every interaction. Your body isn't writing a theory, it's keeping a record. Be fair with yourself. Some fear comes from the past. Old betrayal can make safe love feel dangerous. Old abandonment can make neutral silence feel like rejection. But when the same person repeatedly makes you feel small, tense, ashamed, confused, and emotionally hungry, don't dismiss that signal. Your body may be telling the truth your attachment keeps negotiating with. Now return to that message at 11:47. Good night. The pain wasn't only in the words. The pain was in the memory of what used to be there. There was a time when their messages carried interest. You felt chosen. You didn't have to decode every sentence. You didn't have to celebrate crumbs. That version of them may still live in your mind. This is where projection becomes dangerous. You may not be loving the person in front of you anymore. You may be loving the image they gave you at the beginning, the attentive version, the gentle version, the version who made you feel seen, the version who opened the door to your hope. When that version disappears, the mind keeps searching for them inside the person who remains. That's why leaving feels like betrayal, even when staying hurts. You aren't only losing a partner, you're losing the story your heart built around them. And stories don't die quietly. They bargain, they revise the evidence, they ask for one more sign. So here's the sharper question. Are you loved, or are you attached to being chosen by someone who keeps choosing distance? Sit with that. Don't rush to answer. Your first answer may come from fear. The honest answer may arrive later, when the room is quiet and you stop defending them in your own mind. If these signs describe your relationship, don't use them as weapons. Don't throw them into a fight just to win. Use them as a mirror. A mirror doesn't shout, it shows. Ask yourself what you've been calling love. Is it warmth, or is it relief after anxiety? Is it closeness, or is it the hope of closeness? Is it commitment, or is it fear of starting over? Is it loyalty, or is it self-abandonment wearing a softer name? These questions hurt because they pull you out of fantasy. But fantasy has already cost you enough. A person can have trauma and still be responsible for how they treat you. A person can struggle with emotions and still learn care. A person can love you in their own limited way and still be unable to meet your soul. You don't need to turn them into a villain to admit they're harming you. That maturity will protect you from hatred. It will also protect you from denial. If you choose to talk to them, speak from pattern, not panic. Say, I don't feel emotionally safe in this relationship anymore. Say, when I bring up pain, I feel dismissed instead of understood. Say, I need repair, not temporary affection after I pull away. Then watch their response. Don't only listen to the first apology. Watch the next 2 weeks. Watch whether they become curious. Watch whether they take responsibility without making you carry their guilt. Watch whether they change when there's no threat hanging over them. That's where the truth appears. If they meet you with honesty, humility, and consistent effort, there may be something to rebuild. If they punish you for naming the wound, you have your answer. Self-respect doesn't always leave immediately. Sometimes it starts by refusing to lie. It starts when you stop calling coldness a busy season. It starts when you stop calling silence peace. It starts when you stop calling emotional crumbs their way of loving. There's a version of you that remembers what love should feel like. Maybe you haven't heard from that version in a while because anxiety has been louder, but it's still there. It doesn't demand perfection. It asks for dignity. It asks for warmth that doesn't require begging. It asks for a relationship where your truth can breathe. And if this person cannot give that, your task isn't to become smaller until they can tolerate you. Your task is to come back to yourself. That return may feel like grief at first. You may miss them even after admitting the truth. You may remember the good moments and wonder if you exaggerated the bad ones. You may feel tempted to accept one soft message as proof that everything can change. That's why you need to remember the pattern. One kind night doesn't erase months of emotional hunger. One apology doesn't repair a wound they keep reopening. One promise doesn't become love until behavior carries it. Love has a body. It shows up in tone, time, attention, repair, patience, honesty, and the quiet protection of your dignity. If those things are missing, don't worship the word. I love you can become a curtain. Sometimes people hide behind it because the behavior behind it has gone empty. So tonight, don't ask whether they've ever loved you. That question will trap you in memories. Ask whether their love as it exists today helps you feel safe, seen, and whole. Ask whether you can speak without fear. Ask whether you can need without shame. Ask whether you can grow without becoming less yourself. The answer may not be comfortable, but comfort has kept many people in places where their spirit slowly disappeared. You don't need a dramatic ending to honor a quiet truth. You don't need proof that they're evil. You don't need permission from friends who only see the public version. You need honesty with your own nervous system. You need to stop arguing with the part of you that already knows. If they don't love you, let that truth hurt cleanly. A clean hurt heals faster than a comfortable lie. And if they do love you but have become careless, the truth will force the relationship into a real conversation. Either way, clarity gives you back your power, because the worst place to live is between hope and evidence. Hope says they could change. Evidence says they haven't. Your future depends on which one you keep obeying. So when your phone lights up again, don't only read the message. Read the pattern around it. Read the months behind it. Read the way your body reacts before your mind begins explaining. Then ask the question you've been avoiding. Am I being loved here? Or am I being kept close because I'm useful? That question may hurt. It may shake the whole story. But once you ask it honestly, something inside you begins to return. Your voice, your standards, your clarity, your life. And from that place, love stops looking like a locked door. It starts looking like a home where you don't have to beg to enter.